4 years ago, I moved across the country as a single man to work my dream job as a broadcaster with WWE, right? I lost it. So, but about a year ago, I moved back across the country without the job, but with the woman I love, her 3 children, her 4 rescue cats, her rescue dog, with the kids being aged 17, 15, and 11, with the 2 oldest being girls. So what I'm trying to say is the pandemic affected us all differently. Some people picked up COVID. I picked up a family. In either situation, very difficult to breathe. I'm not gonna lie. How do I start every day? Some nice hot coffee with a dash of stepdad anxiety. That's what I got. It is potent. You're not my real dad? No, but you're gonna give me a real stroke. So let's just... just try to meet me halfway here. And people love putting labels on everything. Someone recently called us a modern blended family, which I found out just means I am white and they're not. That's all that means. It turns out a blended family is just when you see a family in public and you look at the kids and then look at the parents and say, no fucking way, dude. One of those parents showed up way late to this scenario. And that dad needs to get some sun, because woof. I am so pale compared to the rest of my family. In our family photos, I just look like the apparition of a tourist at Disney. I'm like, hey! Who wants to go on Space Mountain? Because we look nothing alike. You know, I look like me, and my wife and children are from Saudi Arabia, you know? Yeah, which is beautiful. It also means I don't speak their native language, which means now I spend my entire life trying to figure out if they're talking shit about me in Arabic. That's pretty much, you know? Yeah. Every day I see them talking back and forth, and they look at me and start laughing. I'm like, hold on a second. Say that shit one more time into my Google Translate, please. It's embarrassing. I'm learning Arabic one word at a time. So slow. Like when I do actually use a word correctly, they just applaud me like I'm a dog doing a trick for a sausage. It's... But having an Arab wife is pretty awesome because I don't have a boring nickname like Babe. Nah. My nickname is Habibi. Right. Yeah, you weren't expecting to see a Habibi in this bitch tonight, were you? I love being a Habibi. Just sounds like I should have chest hair flowing out of my unbuttoned shirt. Whoa. And I know what kind of mood my wife is in, depending on how she says Habibi. If she's happy, she goes, Habibi. If she's pissed at me, she says, white person. I'm like, okay. And then she piles it on, like, you big nose, whitey, American. We have fun together. We do. And once you're with someone for a long time, like, you don't go to bed at the same time every night, you know? Every now and then you go to bed way later than your partner. That happened recently where, like, she was long passed out, and I got into bed. I just leaned over. I gave her a little kiss on the forehead, right? And in her sleep, she giggled with such joy and love that I knew in that moment she was not dreaming about me. Does that ever happen to anyone? In that moment, you want to wake them up so they can open their eyes and be like, oh, you again, oh. Because I think dreams like that are worse than nightmares, you know? Because at least with a nightmare, you're scared in your sleep. You wake up, oh my God, I'm so relieved. You're having the greatest dream of all time, and you wake up, you're like, oh, my life again, son of a bitch. And our daughters are hilarious. The 16-year-old got me with a zinger the other day. She asked me, she's like, well, hey, why do you guys sleep with a fan on at night? And I told her, I'm like, look, I don't like sleeping in silence. I struggle with that, so I turn the fan on high, and I get to sleep with some white noise. And she goes, white noise? I just thought white noise was anytime you gave your opinion on something. She has no idea she wrote the best joke in my whole special. You learn a lot when you're married to someone not from the same country. I found this out. Emojis mean different things in different parts of the world. Yeah. My wife happens to have a very big following, especially in the Middle East on social media. So when we posted our first photo together, all I see are a zillion comments in Arabic. I was like, cool, I don't understand that, but I hope it's nice. And then I just saw fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. And I started feeling so confident. I was like, babe, these people think we look amazing together. And she goes, no, that's just them wishing us to hell. I'm like, okay then. I guess all these devil emojis are for me? Okay, good to know, yeah. But what about all the eggplant emojis? She goes, that actually still means penis. I said, okay, good. At least culturally we can agree penis is an eggplant. That's, that feels good. Well, you know, we do get a lot of questions. They're like, hey, you guys are raised in different parts of the world. You were raised with different religions. And it is true, you know, because she is Muslim. And for most of my life, I was pseudo-Catholic, which meant I didn't go to church, but I still judged people, you know? And, yeah. Once a Catholic, always a prick. That's our catchphrase. It's at the Vatican. You can see it. It's there. There's no picnic growing up Catholic. That was very confusing. The first time they ever shoved the wafer in your mouth, stuck to the roof for about 7 weeks. And as a little kid, you're like, what is this? And some creepy adult leans over and says, that's the body of Christ. You're like, does it come in sour cream and onion? Because I can... I look at it this way. I want every possible God on my side. That's the way I look at it. I'm open. You know, you come in our house, I'll put everything up there. I'll put a cross out for Jesus, a holy Quran out for Allah, even a plate of snacks, just in case Buddha shows up with the munchies. Like, I'm ready. Even a little E.T. figurine and a $20 bill just to cover us with Scientology. You know what I mean? Just... It's funny to me because, like, Hollywood pretends really hard that they're progressive now, but they are not even close. Like, there's still a sitcom on television where the premise of the show is a white family and a black family are next-door neighbors, and that's funny. Like, nah, it's pretty fucking normal at this point. Like, if you want a real sitcom, please bring your cameras into our house. Where you will walk in the front door, you'll see a prayer rug facing Mecca while I'm on the couch watching football screaming, Jesus Christ! And then my team scores a touchdown, I turn towards the rug, mashallah. Like that's... You know? My team wins the game, I'm like, Allahu Akbar. You know, like I'm... We got a full house though, we got the cats. Never had cats before in my life. We have 4 cats. I've only ever seen one of them. The other 3, all they do is hide all day until the moment I fall asleep. Then it becomes Kitty, American Ninja Warrior, all over my body. I wake up with a tail in my nose, an ass in my eye. I have no idea. Turns out with cats, you have to get used to them knocking stuff over in the middle of the night while you wake up and have a panic attack. That's pretty much... It's unbelievable. Like, why do cats have to ramp up the moment we ramp down? You know, like you jump out of bed, you're like, oh my God, is that an earthquake? Nope, just a couple of tabbies with no goddamn respect. That's all that is. Cats are brilliant. The moment they see your eyes start to close, they're like, it's time to rave! Next thing you know, there's catnip and glow sticks flying everywhere. You hear them chanting in the living room, wet food, wet food, wet food. You get out to the living room half asleep, they're all staring at you like, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. And we have the one dog. He's got to deal with the 4 cats. all the humans. She adopted him. She rescued him when he was like 6 months old. She has no idea what he is. Turns out he's a mix of anxiety and insanity. AKA a Chihuahua mix. If you're looking for a grab bag of crazy, get a Chihuahua mix. Look, we can all agree Chihuahuas are adorable, but also their eyes are bulging out of their head 24 hours a day, raising your heart rate just a little bit. Chihuahuas look like they want to tell you a secret and they just can't do it, you know? It's like every time you look at a Chihuahua, you want to interrogate them, like, what do you know about the Illuminati? They're like, I did my research. I don't even know if Chihuahuas are dogs. I honestly think they're old white women who have been reincarnated. That's what I think. Yeah. There's a lot of similarities. You know, Chihuahuas, old white women, both have staring problems. That's a fact. Always peeking out the window, judging you. They're both always cold for no reason whatsoever. Just shivering like it's 87 degrees. I don't understand why I can't regulate right now. You ever see a little 12-pound Chihuahua run up to a 90-pound pit bull, just start barking at it like, bah, 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 and the pit bull is staring at it like, is this bitch for real? Come on, that's... So I'm just saying, the next time you see an old lady carrying her tiny little Chihuahua up to the ATM, that's not even a dog, that's her sister Dorothy. So, I don't judge anyone. My life is very weird. I mentioned working for WWE earlier because I'm also a play-by-play commentator, right? And, yeah. Love doing play-by-play. I'm very proud of it. I've worked in professional wrestling for 13 years, and, you know, when it's done right, pro wrestling is the greatest form of live entertainment on the planet, you know? But when you tell another adult that you work in professional wrestling, a normie, every single response is always, oh, you work in wrestling? You know it's fake, right? So's The Bachelor. Shut up. What's your point? You know? Everything is fake. You know the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? They're not real pirates. In real life, Captain Jack Sparrow's wife pooped in his bed. And he had to take her to court to get revenge. So let us enjoy our stories. But I also do play-by-play for combat sports, for boxing and MMA, and I love being a play-by-play commentator because it's such a unique skill. Not many people can do it at a high level, and especially in MMA, I have such respect for the men and women who fight because to do what they love, they have to live with cauliflower ear for the rest of their lives. That's crazy to me. Like if someone said to me, hey, you can have your dream job, but for the rest of your life, you're gonna look like you're always wearing Beats by Dre. I'd be like, ooh. I think I'm just going to learn how to do taxes because... So the least I could do is try to call a great fight for them. But every fight is different. Sometimes you get great fighter versus great fighter and it's historic. But a lot of times you get a great fighter versus someone who's about to get beat real bad. And that's the magic of being a play-by-play commentator. You have to make that guy sound credible. So this is usually how it goes. Like, all right, guys, Joshua Taylor is making his way to the cage. Taylor coming in tonight with a record of 3 wins and 17 losses. 17 losses via knockout and 3 wins via miracle, apparently. But you can't count Joshua Taylor out tonight. He is very dangerous. He has amazing directional awareness. As you can see, he really knows how to walk straight toward that cage. And over the course of his 20 professional fights, Joshua Taylor has proved that he is not afraid to be punched in the face over and over again. And what makes Taylor so dangerous tonight is he has nothing to lose. Because he's already lost everything. And that makes him a real wild card. And as you know, a wild card always has a puncher's chance. And that's how you do that. Yeah. I was single for most of my adult life, I think, honestly, because I was told I was too nice for years. Like, I'm so glad it's finally in to be a nice guy, because women made it very hard on nice guys for a long time. We would always hear the same stuff over and over, right, buddy? We'd hear, oh, I'm sorry, you're just too nice, or, oh, I'm sorry, you're kind of like my brother, you know? Or my favorite one is, oh, I'm sorry, but nice guys finish last. And every time we're like, well, we'll also finish on your back or on your tummy, so just give us a chance. It's awesome dating a nice guy because we have no expectations. You go on a first date with a nice guy and you just give him a little peck on the cheek. We feel so good. We're driving home listening to Return of the Mac on repeat. We're just like hitting the high notes. Oh my God. Like we feel like kings. Like I'm so glad it's in to be a nice guy now because the bad dudes, now they have to watch their P's and Q's in public, you know? Like if you walk up to a woman and you're right in her face or you're overly aggressive or whatever, a lot can happen now, you know? You can get called out on social media, or you could even be arrested, or you could even become president. Like a lot can happen. You know? And before anyone gets butthurt, that's a bipartisan joke, all right? Because you don't know if I mean the current guy or the last guy, they're both old and creepy. We can agree on that. Yeah. As someone who's worked with the elderly for 15 years, one thing I can tell you, no one over 70 should ever be president ever again. I mean, there's a lot of things old people can do. The most important job in the world is not one of them. Like, how am I going to give you a nuclear code if you can't program a DVR? You know, like, how are you going to handle a 20-hour workday if you can't navigate stairs? I'm just saying, there's a lot of things old people can do. If I walk into Walmart, you fucking wave at me, you know? But if someone gives you a red button to push, it better be the easy button from Staples. That's all.